This is the Gretsch that may have changed my mind on Gretsch guitars. Let's check out the Gretsch G6609TG Broadkaster in Cadillac Green. So let me just explain that first statement just a little bit more in depth. I have always been, very well aware of Gretsch guitars. I'm actually a really big fan of how they look, but I think it was just something in my head personally, and anybody who's maybe felt this, certainly with any other guitar brands as well, let me know down in the comments. But anytime I would see a Gretsch and I picked up a Gretsch, I always felt like I was kind of not forced to play a certain type of music, but certainly it was kind of a bit more, catered towards like a certain type of music. That being kind of, like sort of singer-songwriter-y, country-ish sort of music, maybe in that sort of sense. And again, this is all to do with me and my own screwed up brain. So don't worry if you see a Gretsch and don't assume it, because I know that there are some players out there that use like hollow body Gretsches as well for stuff that isn't country music. But certainly for me, whenever I pick up, say, like a White Falcon or any of the other like kind of bigger style Gretsch, guitars, it would just sort of push my playing in a certain way. But when I saw that we got this in there, this is a Gretsch Professional, which that is their kind of highest brand made in Japan, or highest level made in Japan guitars. That's where you'll see a Falcon kind of turn up. But this G6609TG, and I can't guarantee that I'm going to get that right every single time I say it in this video as well. But this guitar here, I saw this coming in, I really wanted to check it out, and I was actually really pleasantly surprised because it pushes me away from those sort of misconceptions that I had with it. And it actually comes with a pretty cool story as well, just because of the name in it. So I'm going to jump in. A little bit of kind of sounds first. I'll explain some of the features about the guitar, and then there'll be some more sounds later in the video as well. So if you do want to check them out, double check with the description for the timeline. But let's just dive right in, shall we? So yeah, anytime I would pick up a Gretsch, I would always kind of just force myself into playing something, kind of along the lines of like this. Very kind of classic, cowboy chords sort of stuff, and would always like... And I'm in no way a country player, and I've maybe got like a couple of licks under my belt. Just my always go-to is always the, something like that, which just I can kind of bluff my way through, sounding like I am country playing. But there is something about this guitar as soon as I got it, and it's maybe the fact that it's one of the slightly thinner models, which, isn't new to the Gretsch lineup. It's maybe the fact that it's double cut, and it's maybe giving me kind of a bit more of a 335 sort of energy from it. But in all honesty, I actually think a lot of it is to do with the pickups that are in this, and that is the Fulltron pickups in there. So you maybe have heard of the Filtertrons that come in Gretsch pickups. They look very much like this sort of design as well. They're very synonymous, along with like the Bigsby with a Gretsch, just for it to have that sort of vibe. But what these are, they're just that little bit hotter than your usual sort of Fullerton, and they're a bit more kind of mid-range focused. So what I've found is actually when I've stuck distortion on this, and again, this is nothing new to a Gretsch, but I've found, especially when I go to my highest distortion, maybe even kind of doing a bit of lead playing and stuff, it's putting me more in my sort of like comfort zone with the guitar, in terms of just, I don't feel like I need to play like a certain kind of genre on this. So even if I'm doing like big chords into some like kind of lead playing, and I'm going to stick a couple of effects on as well. That certainly, to me anyway, you know, it's not giving any sort of indication that this is like, oh no, this is a guitar that needs to be sort of pinpointed and sort of pigeonholed a little bit. By all means, as you know, I'm very well aware that like the guitar doesn't determine the kind of play style on it. It's some of the coolest things, you know, seeing like some players who maybe are playing a guitar that isn't so suited to their genre, but still get what they need out of it because they like it so much as well. But out of a lot of brands, I always felt like Gretsch were the ones that, you know, they did the stuff that they did really well, or I guess the kinds of music that they were more suited to, like really, really well, but they kind of, not really struggled in any other sort of genre, but certainly for myself, I just couldn't feel super, super comfortable with it. But certainly with this guy, not only does it look really good as well, I mean, come on, let's check out that Cadillac green finish on there just for a second. Gold hardware against it as well, just looks great. But this model, and actually a couple of models in this line as well, the Broadkaster, now, anybody who knows their Gretsch history and actually knows their Fender history as well, the Broadkaster was originally a drum kit for Gretsch, and actually it was the original name for the Telecaster, until there was obviously a bit of kind of back and forwards, to which then 1952 changed the Telecaster. There you go, there's your history lesson for the day if you didn't know. But what the Broadkaster actually now is, it's Gretsch's flagship center block line. So you actually get the double cutaway like I've got here. You also get a single cutaway as well, which is about the same sort of thickness as this model too. So you're not getting that big, huge sort of warm sound as you would expect out of a Gretsch. And the fact that the body's just that little bit smaller as well, it being just that little bit thinner. Again, for me, this is all an issue with myself when I pick up Gretsch guitars, but this just makes me kind of like move into slightly different territory than, and more, I guess, like my own territory of playing. If we're to take a look at, you know, we did talk about the pickup setting in here as well, but some of the other bits and bobs on this guitar I think are really, really worth a highlight. Obviously, this being one of the professionals made Japan models, this thing feels absolutely stunning to play. It's got a really, really comfy standard U-shaped neck there. Ebony fingerboard on it, 12-inch radius, medium jumbo frets, all that good stuff. And you've even got, you know, really, really high quality Gretsch go-to locking tuners on there. And it comes with a really nice case as well. But let's check out a couple of extra sounds on this, shall we? So as much as this video is a confession of me sort of learning to adapt to Gretsch guitars, I guess we can say it, it was also just a really good opportunity for me to show you this guitar in itself, because I don't feel that, certainly for anybody who's, you know, not the most familiar with Gretsch guitars, is that, you know, the Falcon's going to be one in your head, and those kind of types of, you know, like Falcon-esque big body things is probably what a lot of people are going to associate with. Again, unless you are like a cult Billy Duffy fan, or, you know, even like Tim, I've forgotten his last name from Rancid, so apologies. Tim Armstrong, there, nailed it. It's from Rancid. He plays like a big hollow body style as well, but unless you're not so familiar with those guys, then maybe you'll be like me and you'll have a look at a Gretsch and just assume that. But hopefully this kind of gives you, you know, a bit of a sort of look into these guitars to show that they can do just a little bit extra than what may be on the surface. And I guess that's a message for kind of hollow bodies across the board as well, is don't be put off to, you know, play big distortions on them. You'll of course get like a little bit of feedback and all that, but hey, that's super fun in itself. But let me know what you think. Have you tried one of the Broadkaster range by Gretsch? Do you play one yourself and you chuck a bunch of fuzz at it? I'd love to know down in the comments below. And if you have liked the video at all, consider giving us a like and a subscribe as well, because it really does help the channel. But until next time, I've been Kieran, and this has been just a very quick look and more of a confession about my experience with Gretsch guitars. Have a great day.